Welcome, everyone. Today's video dives into one of the most profound forces available to every human being, regardless of background, circumstance, past mistakes, or present challenges: the power of prayer. This isn't just about religion. It's about connection. It's about hope. It's about transforming your inner world and, through it, transforming your life. Prayer has been practiced by people all over the world for thousands of years. It's an instinct as old as humanity itself. When people pray, they're reaching beyond themselves, sometimes for comfort, sometimes for strength, sometimes for clarity, and sometimes simply for the assurance that they're not walking through life alone. Today, we'll explore what prayer really is, why it's powerful, and how incorporating prayer into your life can bring peace, purpose, and transformation. By the end of this video, my hope is that you'll see prayer not as a ritual reserved for the religious elite, but as a tool that anyone, absolutely anyone, can use to elevate their life. What prayer really is. Many people think prayer is about reciting memorized words. Others think it requires being in a special place or using special language. But prayer at its core is much simpler and more profound. Prayer is conversation. It's communication. It's opening your heart and mind to something greater than yourself, whether you call that God, the universe, a higher power, or simply the deep wisdom within you. There's no right or wrong way to pray. You don't need perfect grammar, a quiet room, or a long list of memorized phrases. Prayer is honest. Prayer is raw. Prayer is whatever flows from your heart when you're real with yourself. Some prayers are whispered. Some are silent. Some are cried. Some are felt more than spoken. And all of them matter. When you pray, your words don't have to be poetic. They don't have to be impressive. They just have to be true. That's the real power of prayer. It invites authenticity. It allows you to say things you may not say to anyone else. It allows you to express fears, worries, dreams, and desires you might hide from the world. It's a moment where you don't have to pretend. In that honesty, something shifts. Why prayer is so powerful. If you've ever prayed in a moment of fear or uncertainty, you probably felt something change inside you, even if your situation didn't change right away. Many people report feeling calmer, more grounded, more hopeful, more connected, or simply more aware after praying. That feeling isn't an accident. It's not your imagination. Prayer affects you mentally, emotionally, and even physically. 1. Prayer quietens the mind. When life feels overwhelming, when stress piles up, when responsibilities weigh you down, or when your mind is running in 1,000 directions, prayer becomes a pause button. It centers you. It forces you to slow down, breathe, and focus. This creates space for clarity. So many decisions become easier when you're calm enough to think clearly. So many problems feel smaller when you stop letting panic magnify them. Prayer gives your brain the break it's been begging for. 2. Prayer reduces anxiety and stress. When you pray, you're essentially releasing your burdens. You're admitting, I can't carry all of this alone. And whether you believe someone hears you or you simply feel the relief of expressing what's been building up inside, that release is powerful. Studies have shown that prayer can slow your heart rate, relax tension in your muscles, and reduce the stress hormones that make you feel overwhelmed. Even a 2-minute prayer can shift your internal state. 3. Prayer gives you strength for what you can't control. Life is full of things we can't control: circumstances, timing, other people's actions, unexpected setbacks. Trying to carry everything on your own becomes exhausting. Prayer reminds you that you're not alone. That there is help beyond your own strength. That you can let go of what you can't change. That surrender isn't weakness. It's wisdom. 4. Prayer builds hope. Hope is not wishful thinking. Hope is the belief that tomorrow can be better than today. And prayer fuels that belief. When you pray, you're acknowledging possibility. You're opening the door to miracles you can't yet see. Hope changes your posture, your mindset, and your emotional resilience. People who pray don't just cope better, they overcome better. 5. Prayer gives you perspective. Sometimes life's problems feel larger than they are. One small disappointment turns into everything is going wrong. One unexpected detour feels like an entire collapse. Prayer helps you zoom out. It reminds you that there is more to your life than your current moment. When you look at your challenges through a spiritual lens, you realize that what feels like a setback may be a redirection. What feels like a delay may be protection. What feels like an ending may be preparation for something greater. Prayer is an anchor in uncertain times. The world can feel chaotic. News cycles are packed with fear. Social media feeds are filled with comparison. People are dealing with silent battles: financial pressure, illness, loneliness, heartbreak, confusion, loss. In moments like these, prayer becomes an anchor. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you of your values, your purpose, your identity. It connects you to something steady when everything else feels unstable. Prayer doesn't remove all your problems, but it strengthens you to face them. It doesn't eliminate your challenges, but it transforms how you carry them. Prayer and gratitude, a powerful combination. Some of the most powerful prayers are simple expressions of gratitude. Thank you for another day. Thank you for the strength to keep going. Thank you for the blessings I didn't notice. Gratitude doesn't ignore hardships. It refuses to let them overshadow everything else. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present, from fear to appreciation, from scarcity to abundance. And when you pray with gratitude, you invite even more blessings into your life. You begin to see things you once overlooked. You become aware of opportunities you once missed. Gratitude opens the door for more. Prayer doesn't require perfection. A lot of people avoid prayer because they feel undeserving. They think they've made too many mistakes. They think they don't know how to pray correctly. They think they're too far from God, too damaged, too flawed. But here's the truth. Prayer isn't for the perfect. Prayer is for the needing. Prayer is for the hurting. Prayer is for the lost, the searching, the everyday person trying to make it through life. You don't clean yourself up to pray. You pray to be cleaned. You don't have to be strong to pray. You pray to gain strength. You don't have to be whole to pray. You pray because you're trying to heal. There is no mistake too big, no past too messy, no heart too broken for prayer. How prayer transforms your daily life. Let's talk about real life, practical transformation. When prayer becomes part of your daily routine, you start noticing changes in areas like 1. Your relationships. Prayer softens anger, opens communication, and builds compassion. When you pray about your relationships, family, friends, or romantic, your heart becomes more patient and understanding. 2. Your mental health. Prayer creates emotional stability. It becomes a safe space to pour out your fears, doubts, and stresses. This emotional outlet can prevent internal pressure from building up. 3. Your decision-making. Prayer brings clarity. It helps you make choices with wisdom instead of impulse. It aligns your decisions with your long-term purpose rather than short-term emotions. 4. Your confidence. When you pray for guidance and strength, you move through life with greater confidence. You start to trust yourself more. You trust the timing of your life more. You trust that you're being guided. 5. Your ability to let go. One of the hardest parts of life is letting go of people, expectations, mistakes, old versions of yourself. Prayer helps you release what no longer serves you. Letting go stops feeling like loss and starts feeling like freedom. Prayer in difficult seasons. Some of the most heartfelt prayers come in the darkest moments. When someone you love is hurting. When you feel lost. When your plans crumble. When your heart breaks. When your faith runs thin. In these seasons, prayer becomes more than a spiritual practice, it becomes survival. You cling to it. You rely on it. You find comfort in it. And with time, you realize that prayer didn't just help you survive the storm, it helped you grow through it. There are moments in life when prayer becomes the only thing keeping you standing. And those are the moments when you discover just how powerful prayer truly is. Prayer and patience. One of the hardest aspects of prayer is waiting for answers. Sometimes you pray and see immediate change. Other times, nothing seems to happen. You start to wonder if your prayers are being heard at all. But the power of prayer is not always in instant results. Many times, prayer works internally before it works externally. It changes your attitude before it changes your circumstances. It clears your vision before it opens the door. It strengthens your faith before it brings the breakthrough. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. Some of the greatest transformations happen quietly, behind the scenes, without your awareness. Timing matters. And prayer teaches patience, teaches you to trust the process, even when the results aren't visible yet. How to pray when you don't know what to say. There are moments when your heart is too heavy to form sentences. When your mind is too overwhelmed to think clearly. When you don't even know what you're feeling. In those moments, prayer doesn't have to be perfect. It can be as simple as, I need help. I don't know what to do. Give me strength. Give me peace. I can't handle this alone. Even silence can be a prayer. Tears can be a prayer. A deep exhale can be a prayer. You don't have to articulate everything. You just have to show up. The power of prayer is not in the eloquence of your words, but in the openness of your heart. Consistency in prayer. Prayer isn't meant to be used only in emergencies. Its power is greatest when it's consistent. Imagine prayer like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. You don't need to pray for an hour. You don't need a formal routine. Even 1 minute of intentional connection each morning can shift your entire day. 1 minute of gratitude at night can reset your spirit. Small prayers, repeated daily, create massive internal change. Prayer brings healing. Healing is not just physical. Emotional wounds, disappointments, regrets, heartbreaks, and old traumas can linger inside you for years. These internal injuries don't just disappear with time, they disappear with intentional healing. Prayer helps you process the pain you've been avoiding. It helps you forgive yourself. It helps you forgive others. It helps you release the emotional weight you've been carrying. It helps you heal in places you didn't even realize were hurting. Healing doesn't happen overnight. But prayer creates the environment for it to begin. Prayer and purpose. One of the most powerful aspects of prayer is how it aligns you with your purpose. Through prayer, you gain clarity about who you are, why you're here, and what your next step should be. Many people feel lost because they're disconnected from their purpose. They're moving through life on autopilot. Prayer reconnects you to meaning, to direction, to intention. When you ask for guidance, inspiration, or direction, you begin receiving ideas, insights, or opportunities that you might have otherwise ignored. Prayer opens your eyes to possibilities. The power of praying for others. Praying for someone else is one of the purest acts of love. Whether or not they know you're praying for them, your intention has power. It strengthens compassion. It builds empathy. It connects you to others on a deep, spiritual level. When you pray for others, you become less focused on your problems and more aware of the collective human experience. You begin to see others with more kindness and understanding. And sometimes, praying for someone else helps you heal your own heart too. When prayer feels difficult. There will be days when prayer feels easy, and days when it feels impossible. Days when you feel connected, and days when you feel spiritually flat or distant. That's normal. Prayer is not about feeling something every time. It's about showing up. Some of the most powerful prayers are prayed when you feel nothing at all, because they demonstrate commitment, trust, and faithfulness. Don't stop praying just because it feels difficult. Often, those are the moments when you need it most. Prayer brings you back to yourself. In a world full of distractions, pressures, and expectations, prayer centers you. It reminds you of who you are beneath it all. It reconnects you to your values, your integrity, your compassion, and your inner strength. Prayer grounds you in truth, not the world's truth, but your truth. The truth of your soul. The truth of your purpose. The truth of your identity. When life pulls you in every direction, prayer pulls you back home. Final thoughts. The real power of prayer. The power of prayer is not measured by how loudly you speak or how beautifully you phrase your requests. It's measured by the sincerity of your heart, the openness of your spirit, and the willingness to trust something greater than yourself. Prayer is not magic. It's not a wish list. It's a relationship. It's connection. It's transformation from the inside out. Prayer can change your mood, your mindset, your decisions, your relationships, your perspective, your strength, your peace, and ultimately, your life. If you've been feeling lost, disconnected, overwhelmed, or uncertain, I invite you to return to prayer. Begin again. Even if it's been years. Even if you feel unworthy. Even if you don't know where to start. Start with honesty. Start with openness. Start with whatever words you have. Your prayer doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. And that is where its power begins. Thank you for watching. If this message spoke to you today, consider sharing it with someone who may need the reminder that they're not alone, and that the power of prayer is still alive, still real, and still available to them. As we come to the end of this message, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored about the power of prayer. Prayer is more than a ritual, more than a tradition, more than a set of memorized words. It is a life-changing, heart-shaping, soul-strengthening connection that every human being has access to. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what mistakes you've made or what challenges you're facing, prayer remains an open invitation. It invites you to pause, to breathe, to reflect, and to reconnect with something greater than your fears, greater than your stress, and greater than the chaos around you. Prayer gives you a place to lay down your burdens. It gives you a safe space where you can be completely honest without judgment. It is a private sanctuary where your deepest worries, your biggest dreams, and your most painful struggles can be spoken or silently felt. And the beauty of prayer is that it doesn't demand perfection, it simply asks for sincerity. You don't need the right words. You don't need a perfect past. You don't need all the answers. All you need is the willingness to show up, even if your voice shakes, even if your mind is overwhelmed, even if your heart feels heavy. Throughout life, there will be moments of joy and moments of uncertainty, seasons of blessing and seasons of brokenness. Prayer is what carries you through both. In joy, prayer becomes gratitude. In sorrow, prayer becomes comfort. In confusion, prayer becomes guidance. In fear, prayer becomes courage.